Hello, everybody. I am Blake. I will be the project manager for this program, and welcome to the Zora Coinathon. So, um, a couple of words about us first. We are a community of top developers, students, and researchers, primarily operating in Web3. And we run programs such as this, hackathons, but also boot camps, accelerators, and educates. So look out for them and be sure to sign up for those as well. We get lots of projects out of hackathons going into our accelerators and becoming fully fledged startups. So quickly, yeah, here's me, here's Blake. I'm the project manager. And feel free to reach out to me if you have any problems or questions about the hackathon. So I'm now going to introduce Omji Park, the head of research and operations at Encode Club. I will invite her up to the screen and she will have a couple of words to say to all of you.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. First, welcome to Zora Coinathon, everyone. This is very exciting opportunity that you can learn from the best in the industry and build something cool. Of course, like Zora team, and also we have amazing supporting partners such as Farcaster, Uniswap. Perhaps you're gonna be the hackers who are gonna try the latest update on Uniswap, Zora, Farcaster now, which is very exciting. And it's not only you have opportunity to build with like-minded people, you can actually get mentorship from those like amazing engineers who are going to be holding your hands and going through step by step how you can build amazing app that can be used by the consumers in the end. Amazing part is like this hackathon has 4 weeks long, so that you can have a proper time to learn things during the workshop, and perhaps brainstorm with your potential teammates. We already see that some of you already have a team, some of you are looking for a team. Do not worry, you have enough time, and then Inco team going to be helping you. And after that, of course, you're going to have the weeks of time you can focus on building those projects. One little tip is I myself, I have engineering background, and a lot of developers or builders here. Likely, many of you may have science or engineering background. There's one disease we all need to get over is imposter syndrome and submit something which is not perfect. I remember the first 2, 3 hackathons. I was building something quite seriously, but by the end of the submission deadline, I decided not to submit because I thought it was not good enough. And that's a lot of developers doing it, or a lot of builders doing it during the hackathon, or a lot of different events or opportunity ahead of you. And what I learned is there's a two thing. First is it's really important to experience the cycle of something which feels like not completely ready, but focus on core features and build and submit. That's what startups does. They don't build a perfect project. They submit, they ship MVP and test, getting attraction and build something more amazing. So we need to get over that uncomfortable feeling to ship something not perfect. And second thing is, of course, to do so, like in the beginning, you wanted to build something amazing with 10 different features, but you will realize that 4 weeks is really long, but very short at the same time. So you will have to reduce few features that you can focus on core interaction of your app. So I hope you're going to be taking this opportunity to learn that cycle. Some of you will become a founder in the future. Some of you will become a project lead in the engineering team. Some of you become a product person or product marketer, or having a strategic person in the product team in the future. So this is a great opportunity to hone that skill and practice. So please use this chance to learn from mentors and submit something amazing. That's pretty much it. I want to give a tip to those hackers who might be hesitating in 4 weeks that if your project is good enough, every project is good, and please reach out to us that we can help you to cross that deadline, the finish line. And again, everyone, good luck, have fun. That's the most important thing. And we are very, very looking forward to see your project.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Omji. So next, I'll just quickly introduce Zora. Zora is an on-chain social network that reveals new opportunities to create and earn from your online life. And part of the idea is that as traditional social media platforms extract all the value created by the people who post, and Zora's big ethos is to correct that. So welcome again to the Zora Coinathon. The main what we want from you is to build new tools and experiences that enable direct exchange, explicit value, and real rewards between creators and supporters. So, as Omji briefly mentioned, we've got three partners for this hackathon: Uniswap, Farcaster, and Optimism, with whom I hope you're all aware. Very big names in the crypto industry. And now we'll move on to the prizes. So we have a main prize track where the first place gets 50 or 5,555 OP, and you'll see that all the numbers are the same for the second and third prizes too. But the best thing about this hackathon for me is the community pool. And if you go and check out the value of OP, you'll see this is really quite a big community pool, and any valid project is entitled to, or any valid submission is entitled to a share of this community pool. So before I hand over to Ian and Isaac from the Zora team, I'll just quickly run over the schedule with you, and some links will hopefully pop up in the chat with next steps. So today, Ian will introduce Zora coins to you. Then we'll have a Farcaster workshop at the same time tomorrow. We'll have office hours with the exact date TBA about halfway through this program, and the submission deadline is the 6th of July. So that's a really good date to have noted down. It's also on the Zora Discord channel. Okay, so final slide before I hand over. Please join the Discord. It's really important. We post lots of announcements, and you can also get help from the various team members from Encode and Zora. Please look at the Hacker Pack and come to the workshops and let's get building. Let's start this hackathon. Okay, so I'm going to hand over now to Ian and Isaac.
Hey everyone, GM. Isaac from Zora here. I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. Cool. Alrighty. You should be able to see my screen. Cool. Thanks, Blake, for the amazing introduction, and as well as Omji. Very excited to be doing this. This is our first ever Coinathon. I think this is the first time we've done a full hackathon in 2 years now. So we're extremely excited to be sharing this moment with you to really build this new ecosystem of Zora developers, projects, and tooling. Just going through this workshop's going to focus on a few things. So talking you through what Zora is, why build on Zora, and Ian will be walking us through the SDK introduction, capabilities, protocols, smart contracts, metadata, and then we'll go through a quick overview of the kinds of projects that we're really excited about in case you don't really know what you're trying to build. I think these are really good starting points, but if you already have some ideas, feel free to explore those as well. I'll also be talking through judging criteria and tips. Definitely stay around for that, just because it's very important that we're all aligned on the same page around what we're looking for, how you could best make the best experience out of this hackathon over the next 4 weeks, and then obviously running it out with some notes around support and resources. Okay. So what is Zora? Blake's already alluded to it. We're an on-chain social network, but I want to take a step back around how that all came to be in the first place. So traditional social platforms like the ones that we're really used to, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they have amazing user experience. They've started a new way of making money for creating content on the internet. But the real problem around that is that they've extracted so much value created by the people who've actually contributed to the success of their platforms. For what it's worth, a million views or a million streams on TikTok get you only a couple of $100, and most people don't ever get to that kind of scale on TikTok. Right, you're at the peril of, you're at the mercy of um, the the platform's algorithm. So it's always about how many views, how many likes, how many shares. Not there really isn't a quick way to exchange value between the person who creates something and the person who consumes the content. So creator, but most of the creators actually struggle to monetize and earn directly from their supporters. Like, you'd be watching my stuff, but there's no real way to monetize that as a creator. There's no way to monetize content that I put up there. So consumers would get their attention and get nothing back. So that comes through like doom scrolling. You're spending a lot of time on Instagram, and then you're probably supporting your favorite creators through something that they sell off the platform. That's through merch or the products that they create. So the platforms win, advertisers win, but users mostly lose. And here's where Zora comes in. Right? We are a new kind of social app to make creators and supporters money. Right? We're combining social, what's extremely familiar to most people around like the UX, with open markets to unlock a new kind of creator economy. And what's really exciting about this is the fact that Zora coins are essentially ESC20s that are built on top of Uniswap. Because it's a liquid currency, it really enables organic price discovery, attention markets, and just it fully unlocks a new way of exchanging value on the internet. One that's fully permissionless, one that's fully publicly verifiable, and one that's actually tangibly valuable for both creators and supporters. So I've got some couple of screenshots on for the Zora app. If you look at the one on your left, that's how it looks like on the desktop. Amazing creators who are coming from Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. They're starting to explore with Zora, and the one on the right, that's actually an iOS native or Android native app. So if you're on your phone right now, feel free to go and download the app on the Play Store or the App Store after this. So it'd be amazing to. It's probably one of the most magical experiences that you can find on crypto today. So why build on Zora? We are a growing, vibrant creator ecosystem, not just creators, but also supporters, fans, and buyers and traders. It's an extremely vibrant, double-sided market. We've got built-in distribution and a built-in business model within the protocol itself. For those who have been building on Zora previously, you have something called the protocol rewards based on like mints and NFTs. We've done a revision of that for coins as well. So you have create referral and trade referral. So we have a very strong focus on creator monetization. We've been around for 5 years now, and we've never strayed away from that vision of helping creators monetize and tokenize their work. We've gone through a few different iterations, but the current version of Zora is the strongest, most potent, most exciting yet. And we have a best-in-class SDK and a suite of smart contracts for content on the internet and on chain. So, if everything that you see on the slide at the moment, they're all coins, every single one of them, in many forms. Some are in videos, HTML. If you look at this one at the bottom here, that's blacked out. That's actually by someone by the name of Ripe. Extremely exciting stuff that you can be building on Zora today. So I'm going to pass the presentation over to Ian, who will be walking us through it, the SDK and smart contracts.
Hello, everybody. So the Coins SDK is a TypeScript library to interact with our Coins protocol in a pretty straightforward way. It has the ability to create a new coin, obviously. You can update some information about the coin. We allow for multiple owners. We also allow for dynamic metadata. We've had some people do some cool things with those two features. And then we also have a set of queries which go to our API indexer that allows you to get more details on a coin. That includes thumbnails, metadata, market information, trades. And then you can also query a profile to determine what coin somebody has made, what coins they're trading is coming in soon, all the information about the profile, along with uh, comments. So if a coin has comments, those comments will link to a profile, and then from that profile, you can get all their other coins from that user. We also have a way to explore top coins of the day, top coins of all time, new coins, old coins, and a handful of other queries that you can do to expose coins that we utilize in our front end, such as features, or we have different ways of sorting our entire list of coins that you can utilize. And then we have some on-chain queries, which are deprecated. So really just focusing on the indexer. Two things we're working on right now are trading coins that are backed with Zora. It requires an extra approval step and some API changes, but that's coming very soon. And then uploading metadata. Zora now is going to support uploading metadata if you have an API key, and will handle pinning, validating, and managing that metadata for you. Right now, you're required to do that on your own with a tool such as Pinata. To get started, it's an NPM package. The Coins SDK will run either on the server or on the client. It's really up to you as long as something can understand JavaScript. It has very few dependencies, but it does depend on Veeam. So you need to install Veeam on your own. That allows, if you're already using Veeam in your project, you don't need to use the exact same version of Veeam we're using. You can use a relatively similar version and it should just work. JavaScript, we have this concept of peer dependency. So Veeam is marked as a peer dependency, which means you need to install both the Coins SDK and Veeam to use it for your project. To get an API key, you can go to zora.co/settings/developer. And then when you use the SDK, before you interact with any of the functions on the SDK, you'll just call the set API key function from the SDK to register your API key. It's similar pattern to how Google Analytics registers an API key.
And you can have up to 5 at any point in time. That's important.
Idea is you have one API key per project. If one of them gets compromised or you don't want to use it anymore, you have the ability to delete a key and then you can create another, but you can't have more than 5 active keys at a time. Talking a little bit about the contracts, this is what underlies the entire protocol, what the SDK is built on. We have a deploy function for base, and the coins protocol is deployed with full support on base and base Sepolia. The SDK also supports calling coins on Sepolia. You just need to pass in the Sepolia chain ID for base. The deploy function takes in, first argument would be the payout recipient. This is the de facto owner of the coin. This is where the funds go. The reason the payout recipient is separate from the owners is if you want to do some special Solidity functionality or have a split with your payout, you can change that to a split address or to any custom contract you want to build. There's a list of different owners. A benefit of this is you could have an owner of the person who created the coin, maybe even using the Zora UI, but you wanted to add an owner that is a smart contract or a system account, you could add that as well. The URI is the metadata getter for the coin. It follows the same standard as NFT metadata, except for there are no different tokens. There's only a single token. So there's only one metadata URL. You don't need to pass in a token ID or anything like that. There's also name and symbol. Because of some quirks to indexing ERC20 tokens, you can't change the name and symbol on the token itself, but you can change the name and symbol registered within the metadata. Actually, Symbol is not registered in metadata, but name is. So the name can be changed, but it will potentially use the old name because most block explorers are unaware of names that are changed. We have this bytes memory pool config. The SDK has a default pool config, and we've documented a default pool config. This determines how the liquidity is managed, and something that Zora will update occasionally, but shouldn't really need any particular changes from usage of our SDK. And we would SDK like on-chain contracts. We'd highly recommend not deviating from the Zora recommended pool configs. There's two, I believe, because there's a chance that any tokens that don't match those pool configs will get pulled from the site. The address platform refer describes the contract or user that is referring the create. And that's one of the really awesome parts of developing on top of the Zora Coins SDK, is that you're getting a small portion of all trading fees associated with this coin. And that will go as long as that coin exists and the creator can't change it. So if you build a third-party application, somebody creates a coin with it, you're a part of that reward split as long as that coin exists. And another benefit of the platform refer is we have certain query functions that allow you to access any coins made from a specific platform refer. And the benefit here is that the coins that you create on your platform, you could filter for to just show the coins from your platform and not show coins created on other platforms. So it allows for not needing to create a database or a backend when you create coins, and you could just utilize this getter function on the SDK or on our API to access the coins that you've created with a specific platform refer or set of platform referrers. Finally, there's a address for a post-deploy hook and post-deploy hook data. This is something that we use internally to do an initial buy. So a feature of a lot of these coin platforms, including Zora, is the creator gets first option to do a buy. And because you can buy in multiple currencies, we have a system that allows for buying in ETH or in Zora or in USDC. Currently, the SDK only supports buying in ETH, but we're hopefully adding Zora and USDC support very soon. And when those supports are added, you'll need to approve or do a signature on those tokens before the coin can be created. There's a few other details we're looking into potentially around smart accounts that prevent that step. But for now, we're working on exactly how those tokens should be approved. And if you have a particular use case or want any feedback as to how you might utilize this feature, just let us know and we can think about that when we build out the implementation. When you deploy the coin, it returns the coin and any data from the post deploy hook. This only works if you're interacting with the contract in Solidity. If you're interacting in TypeScript, you need to parse the receipt and get the deployment events. The SDK does that for you, but there is documentation if you want to do that yourself. And there's an event for Coin Market Rewards v4 where you can take a look at the different rewards that are set on the coin. So we've talked about platform refer. There's also trade refer. So if you start a trade of a coin, you can get a portion of that trading reward. And I think that's all for the coin market reward settings.
Yeah.
And the final thing is when you deploy a coin on the factory has a coin deploy function. And that's how we differentiate coins that are made by Zora and coins that are not officially Zora. So if you were to fork or deploy manually any coin things not through the factory, they would not show up on our site. So
I've just shared the rewards breakdown in the chat, so you can have a look around to how much the create referral and trade referral fees you'll be getting. Ideally, I think that one thing that's super cool is we've seen teams like Art Run. They now call themselves Art Fun. They would facilitate creating on Zora, and they have the platform refer set up, and they would earn for any time those coins get traded. And vice similarly, you have trade referrals too. So if your app is built for a trading experience, you want to you definitely want to set that up. So this is what I had alluded to previously around like having a built-in revenue model from the get-go. Okay, for that question, I'll go through that at the end. Yeah. All right, let me move on to cool metadata.
Yes. So as I said before, we have a few custom things for metadata. Content has a MIME and URI, and that is what Zora uses as the canonical content field. It's very similar to animation URL from OpenSea. Yeah, we do support HTML, not on the mobile app. And the image, this is important to note, the image field is recommended, or is actually required. It's not recommended. So if the image is not an image or does not render, we really only support PNG, JPEG, and yeah, PNG and JPEG for image. I would not recommend using SVG. That's what the content or animation URL is for. The reason being is it'll not render on mobile. We might have fixed this, so I'll try and investigate. But if you're using anything for image that is not a JPEG or a PNG and you have issues on mobile, just let us know, and that's something to be aware of. Animation and content do support audio, and you can get a cover image using the image field combined with the content and the animation URL fields to get a music and a cover image. Video is also supported. MP4 is the best format for video and is relatively well supported. We also support 3D models. I don't know if that support is current, Isaac, but in theory it would work. So the thing here is if you have a exotic media type, try it out on testnet. Let us know. For sure, HTML, video, SVG, and audio are supported.
Yeah, if you aren't sure if your file is going to get rendered properly in Zora, always go to always create a client on testnet.zora.co, which is basic Polia, and then see how that looks like. Otherwise, you can always reach out to us for best case practice.
And the next slide, we're going to have a sneak peek of the media experience rolling out very soon. But here you can call this function create metadata builder. And you can pass in the name, symbol, description, image, and it'll just take care of everything for you. And you would take that metadata and then pass it into the create coin call. We're going to have a Zora backend for this. We're also going to have a Pinata backend if for any case you can't use the Zora backend. But with an API key, this should just work.
Yeah, and this solves it. Yep, sorry. Ian,
And if you forget a field, like if you don't have a valid image, if you don't have a symbol, it will throw an error describing what's wrong with your metadata. So it kind of walks you through that process.
Yeah, and then this solves a huge issue. So prior to this, we had a lot of devs coming to us mentioning that they were struggling to have their things getting rendered properly in Zora. So this would hopefully improve the entire media handling experience by 10 times. So you can focus on building amazing experiences without worrying about the metadata side of things. Cool. Thanks, Ian. I'm going to go through like a request for projects slide really quickly. So this is essentially what we're looking for. I think if you look at the top, all these 5 ideas, we're extremely excited about them. So writing tools where every post is a coin. So think Substack or like writing tools that are available out there. Like how would you incorporate coins and how would you change the way creators monetize their writings and essays? And then music clients for artists to tokenize their tracks. I would say that music in general will continue to be an important form of media for everyone. We've seen music NFTs, but now we're seeing a new, obviously with ERC20s and Zora coins in general, we're extremely bullish about how music should be coined and tokenized to help artists monetize their work, and for discovery as well, right? If something goes absolutely viral on TikTok, there's no real way for you to see what's actually viral besides seeing it multiple times. But with coins, you can actually see it because people are collecting and purchasing these music coins and trading them even. And then meme and GIF tools like image flip, but powered by coins. So like a lot of people actually create memes on Zora, but they would go through, they would do an image flip, save the image, and then come to Zora. What if that entire thing is just packaged into a single client where you can make amazing memes, funny memes that could go viral and then coin them at the same time? So you capture the virality on chain directly. And thoughtful AI tools for creators and traders on Zora. The reason I use the word thoughtful is because we're actually seeing, I think AI is extremely powerful when it comes to things like media generation. We see the giblification that happened a couple months ago on Open AI, ChatGPT. Midjourney has been growing. Its experience in creating media on Midjourney has been really, really, really brilliant. So, how would you build AI tools for creators and traders in such a way that doesn't come off as like just pure AI slop? I think there is a world for that, but I would really challenge everyone here to like take it a step further. How do you actually use AI to build? How do you build AI powered tooling that's actually super valuable for creators and traders on Zora? So, like for creators, it could be media generation. Could it be an AI companion for you to coin your work? For traders, it could be how do you build um, an AI powered experience that helps you spot potentially viral coins on Zora. So, how, like, really challenge you all to think about that. We also talked about like Farcaster mini app. So Farcaster would actually be one of the partners from a technical standpoint. So would love for everyone to explore what it's like to. We've seen some really interesting Farcaster mini apps that are built on Zora. And I think there's a whole new world of new kinds of funny, fun, exciting Firecaster mini apps. Could be games built on Zora coins, etc. So definitely explore that as well. Yeah, obviously, plus your own IDs. We're not limiting what you can submit to just what I've mentioned, but if you have any IDs that you feel extremely strongly about, feel free to go ahead um, and, and just explore them. So yeah, judging criteria. I think this is really important. It is important that you're integrating the Zora protocol. That could be in the form of the SDK or the contracts directly. That's really up to you based on how you want to build your submissions. But by default, creator tooling submissions must integrate Coins V4. We released V4 most recently, so like Friday last week, and we definitely want to see more projects building on top of V4 instead of V3. So just definitely keep that in mind as you're building your project. So how original your project actually is actually really important as well. How is it redefining the current status quo? Like, what are you? How is your project pushing the limits of what people can actually do with coins? So I think that's really important. Utility. Would creators or traders or buyers actually use this? More often than not, I feel like people actually build like during hackathon um, sort of challenges. The main thing that they focus on is just let's just build this for a hack for a month. I like that really experimental energy, but I would challenge you to push it a step further and go and ask yourself, oh, would people actually use this? Are you focusing on solving real user problems? So like if you were given 4 months to build a project, an app that people would actually use, what would that look like? Not just for like, not I think you can always combine like being very original, novel, but also have utility in the app itself. Polish. I think it's really important to have a really polished UX. It's extremely easy now to create like new wireframes using V0 from Vercel, for example. Like also challenging you all to push the UX a step further. Like, is it intuitive? Is it thoughtful? If you look at Zora.co, that's a really good uh, example of like a strong focus in UX. And another shout out to a really cool project that's built on Zora is actually Songcast.xyz. They're built on Zora as well. If you check it out, really good UI, really good UX. They're solving a real problem. So definitely use that as an example. Okay. So resources. So you've got the dev docs on docs.zora.co, but you can definitely get support from us in the Encode Discord as well. We'll be there. And obviously the hacker pack is coinathon.encode.club. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, opening the floor to Q&As, to questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Isaac and Ian. Yeah, as you say, we'll move on to the Q&A now. So if you've got any questions, please ask them in the chat. I've seen some already. Isaac and Ian have been great in the chat and been answering some already. So yeah, please put them in the chat and hopefully Isaac and Ian can answer them.
Let's go through one of them. So can I use AI in my Zora project? Yeah, you definitely can. For the past 6 weeks, we've been doing an AI focused virtual hackathon on Akindo. So yeah, we definitely want to see some people. You're definitely free to use AI in your project. But back to my earlier point around being very thoughtful around how you integrate AI. I think it's important that it feels very thoughtful, it feels intuitive. It doesn't feel like it doesn't just feel like a hackathon project. It feels like something you would be very proud of as a builder. How do we get testnet coins? Yeah, so Zora coins are based on Uniswap, so you can just get base of Polar coins. Base of Polar ETH for testing purposes.
The other thing I'd like to call out is there's a tool called Anvil, which allows you to fork the base chain and then develop against it. And it allows you to interact with the base chain as it is in mainnet, which is much better when you're working on coins themselves, or maybe that coin doesn't work on Sepolia. You can use Anvil to spin up a chain, point your site to that chain, and then interact with it a little bit. That might be helpful as well.
I'll be sharing the slides in the Discord channel, so you can always refer to it.
And we'll be actively updating the SDK. I have a backlog of different queries that people have wanted. Rolled out 3 queries the last 2 weeks. I think there's 2 more that are currently in progress, so don't be afraid to ask.
Cool. You like it for use cases where any user can create a token, or is it fine if I create the tokens max 3 myself and have a trade page using each token would have specific utility? Have a trade page using the buy sell. Lyle, I think that's a really good question. So the way I understand your question is probably so you would create the tokens as an example and then focus on the trading side of things. I think the way I would approach that is it really depends on the kind of user that you want to build for. Is it a creator tooling experience? Is it a trader experience? Like, what do you what? So for what the way you could go about it is like you could query Zora coins, right? You could probably build a very unique trading experience, and you would just be pulling the Zora coins in it, and people can trade on your platform that way as well. So that works.
Yeah, I think the maybe the core of the question is, do you need to have a user create experience for the project to be a part of the hackathon? And the answer is no. If you're utilizing coins as a core part of some sort of project, and even if it's just trading, it's fine. It depends on like the overall vision and how well it works together. I think the one thing to watch out for is if you do something that could be done with just a base ERC20 and don't include any of the special features of coins, then maybe it's like, okay, well, what's the point here? But if you're like fetching a lot of data and utilizing features, especially comments and integrating the game experience, perfect.
Yeah, that's right. Plus on that comment. Oliver, so how much of a role should AI play in a project? It could be 0, it could be maximum, you could be vibe coding the entire project itself. That's totally okay. Or you could just choose to fully build it out yourself. Or if you're talking about the UX itself, even if there's no AI within the UX itself, that's okay too.
One thing to call out, and we've improved this recently, all of our pages have a Ask in Chat GPT button on the docs. And if you in cursor at mention our docs, cursor will actually be able to read our docs. They were designed intentionally for LLMs to be able to read quite easily. And if you run into any issues with LLMs reading or understanding our docs, let us know. We can make an update.
Yeah, I wanted Rohan. So I wanted to ask, with micropayments enabled in Farkas and every interaction can be monetized, does it affect Zora or how Zora positions itself? No, I think it doesn't really. It affects us in actually a really positive way. Essentially, if you've got mini apps that are built on Zora, then Zora Farkas would essentially be a pseudo client, and you as a project builder, you'd be tapping into Farkas's distribution and social graph. So if anything, it's amazing that they have micropayments on Farkas. I think uh, it really proves the idea of like composability, building for crypto powered projects. So yeah, what was the Doppler thing on the event? Ian, do you want to talk through Doppler really quickly?
Yeah, Doppler is a protocol that's a product utilized in something called Pure.markets. We are utilizing parts of our protocol from Doppler to extend how we manage liquidity in a way to make it more fair than a standard pool. So we actually create a handful of pools, and we're kind of hacking the edges of Uniswap to allow us to have a lot more flexibility in how we handle our coin valuation and liquidity. So the difference of us versus like Clinker is that we have ability to have a more constrained market cap where people can't come in and take a large amount of the supply in the first transaction, and the price goes up not in a direct path but in a specific path that is balanced to be more fair. And because we're utilizing Doppler's protocol, we are splitting our protocol fee with their protocol fee as a part of that.
Yeah.
Rohan, for CoinTag, I think there's ability to build a project kind of like CoinTag in Solidity and then extend it as a hackathon project. There's an awesome opportunity there for that.
Yeah. Yeah, Doppler's already baked into Zora coins, so you get the benefits of like a of Doppler straight out
When
of
I
the
was talking about like the pool config essentially is the part that Doppler handles. But for all intents and purposes, if you're building on top of our SDK or contracts, you don't have to worry about Doppler at all. If you want to read about the DeFi thing, go into the papers, implementation, by all means. But in terms of using the protocol, you don't need to know anything about Doppler.
Ian, about the LP.
The LP is set automatically using the Doppler protocol, as we just discussed, and it is locked into the actual coin contract. There's no way that that liquidity can be accessed, and the rules and rewards and handling of that liquidity are set upon coin creation.
Janice, yes, 100% online, so you can participate. The reason why we did the upgrades recently with like V4, one of the biggest concerns, one of the biggest challenges that we were running into is the fact that people could snipe for a very low price. With the new upgrades, it becomes way more costly to snipe, and that ensures that it's safer for traders and creators who are on Zora. Ultimately, just a fairer market, I would say.
So, the way our LP fee rewards get split out is 50% goes to the creator, 25% goes to the platform that referred the creator, and 25% goes to the protocol. So there's a lot of opportunity if you deploy a token using the SDK and pass in a platform referrer address, that if that token has a really large amount of trading, you're going to be getting 25% of 1% of that trading, which is quite good. So let's say there's $1 million in volume. Out of $1 million, there's 100,000 in fees. You would get 25% of that fee.
Yeah. So Hill, I'm not sure if you're still here, but yeah, the bounties focused on tooling. When we say tooling, they're actually apps or projects. What else? Blake, you've already mentioned the prizes, right?
Yeah, I did. But if you'd like to talk about them again, then please feel free. That's the way to sort of wrap up the session with some incentives.
Yeah, cool. So we've got a total pool of 55,555 OP, and we have 3 top prizes, and then as well as a general prize that's going to be split, distributed amongst all participants. So we'll be judging out of all the submissions. There will be top 3 contenders, and then everyone else will also get a piece of the prize pool. What's with the angel numbers? That's a Zora in general, right? Like 777, 111, 555. The idea is just angelic numbers on chain. Yeah. When is the Uniswap workshop? So Yash, there isn't a separate workshop because ultimately you'll be building on Zora, which is on V4 by default. How Uniswap's is participating in this hackathon is really just providing some sort of technical resources, but you can probably find all of them on Zora because you'll be building on coins. You're not necessarily building on top of Uniswap V4, you're building on coins, which is powered by Uniswap V4. If I try to build something similar to CoinTag, how can I make a child content more discoverable to others who share same interests? So like, so you would build, so you'd have posts that are quoted in Zora, and then you have a coin tag that's quoted in another currency, essentially. Do you want to see if you can answer Rohan's question?
Yeah. Okay, like if I do kind of like how many times each number. Okay, Rohan. For CoinTag to make child content more discoverable, we do have a base currency option. In terms of discoverability, you could also do something on the metadata side. We do expose the metadata in our API. So you could say everything that you created on your platform, index that metadata, allow for tagging. And then the coins that were created with your tag enabled protocol, or even a tag protocol outside of the actual coins that refers to coins. There's many ways you could go about this. But I think one of the cool things for a hackathon project would be to increase discoverability. And there are many ways you could do about it. You could do an on-chain registry. You could utilize that with the deployment hooks. Can talk about how to utilize that if you're a Solidity developer, or just go metadata, keep it real simple. Or as Isaac was mentioning, you could use a separate base currency pair. The idea for coin tags was kind of to get people ready for coins from the NFT world. And now that coins are here, I feel like the original concept of coin tags doesn't make too much sense for us, but some of the concepts, as you were saying, do make sense. So figure out how to distill that into what are the core things you need, and then probably work through what technology would make that happen. As for angel numbers, the other thing about angel numbers, which is really interesting, is when you're reading a blockchain printout, you see a bunch of hex. And we have a couple Easter eggs in our hex code that means if you see a bunch of ones, that's probably our token. If you see a bunch of sevens, that's probably an NFT contract address. If you see a bunch of, so we have a handful of patterns that we follow in our vanity addresses that allow us to differentiate what part is Zora protocol, what part is a random address, what part is a coin address, and we have some exciting updates coming for that as well. There's a way, so in Ethereum, you can choose your own salts, and we essentially just utilize a CPU or GPUs to mine the salt. We used a lot of GPUs to get the Zora token address. It's a polynomial increase of difficulty, so getting 4 hexes, pretty easy. Getting 6, not that hard. Getting 8, a lot harder. Yep. We don't have a quantum computer checking on vanity addresses or anything fancy. It's just brute force.
Yeah. Thanks for all the questions. If you have more questions, definitely reach out to us on Discord. We'll be in there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Ian, did you have anything else to add?
Great, thank you very much. Yeah, and as Isaac says, please feel free to reach out on the Encode Discord. We will do our best to help you and connect you with the right people, probably Isaac and Ian. But yeah, okay, great. Thank you very much, everyone. And I think that we can wrap up the event here.
Awesome. Cool. Nice meeting you all. Have a good one. See you online.
See you all tomorrow for the next workshop. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.